This is Greg Henthorne with The Greg Henthorne Show, where I talk to authors and writers about their creative process to help you be more creative. Today, I talk again with Dustin Thomason. Last week, we talked about his process in getting his book written and getting it out the door in a rush. Now, this time, we talk about what to name that book. Also, we talk about what are the editing advice, what are the ways to get your book edited and to make it the best quality possible. And third, we talk about a soft launch and how you can have a soft launch with a hard launch. At the end, I'll come back with a few remaining thoughts. Enjoy the interview. The process that you've gone through with editing, where are you at right now? So the way I take it is you did a fast launch when you thought that the whole world of TikTok may be collapsing. So you got it out fast, understandably. But then it really didn't have a name for it. Right now, are you thinking, where is it at right now in the process?
Yeah, so I think I'm wanting to do like an official launch in the next week or two. I still have to nail down a name. I've got a list of like 100 names, nothing that I'm like super excited about. Wanted something, short that was memorable and easy to understand exactly what the book was about, which is harder to do than I would have expected. And then need to get like some artwork for a cover just to look a little better. Like right now, it's just a Word doc with basically I think I titled it How to Manage Money. And that was literally, it's like something I came up with in 5 seconds.
What was the names? You have them close by. You want to talk about it for a second?
Sure.
All right. So my thinking is that since the majority of people that are going to be buying this are doing it because they already know you on TikTok, they know you on YouTube, my advice would be to actually use your name as part of the title of the book. It would be Dustin Thomason Personal Finance Guide, something that has your name, because you're the one who brings the credibility to the book. And if I've sat there and watched hours and hours of you on video, it makes perfect sense that the guy that I trust, I would like to have his name not just as a part of the title, part of the title, not just listed as the author of the book. And a lot of people do that for, that is an immediate way to have credibility.
So the original name, and I ran it by my wife, and she absolutely hated it. But the original thought I had was Logical Ways of Wealth, and I was going to have like Dustin Thomason Logical Finance on there. And she said that's the worst name I've ever heard. She hated it. And so
I like your wife.
My first
I like your
with what you're saying, I think, because everybody knows me on all the social media platforms as Logical Finance. That's what I've done, the branding across everything.
What I would lean towards is A, something that used your name up front, and then B would be speaking to the answer that you solve for your reader. So it would be, and I'm not sure I would use the phrase logical finance because I'm not sure that actually answers the question that your 18-year-old self would have. So it would be, whether it be a handy finance guide, easy finance guide. It would be something that says, says two parts. One, it speaks to credibility with your name. And then second would actually speak to the problem that you solve for them. In fact, you could even just use your first name, Dustin's Guide to Making Smart Decisions, Smart Money Decisions. And here's the thing, the more specific, as you know with making YouTube videos, the more specific you are with a name, the more likely it's going to find purchase in his mind because you're actually solving a problem. And it ends up that the more specific we are with the content, the bigger our audience is because we're meeting a bigger need. So the worst thing to do is like, oh, I want to appeal to everyone, so I'm just going to make it a really general name. Well, then you obviously, just like trying to make videos for everyone, it just goes to no one. And I would think about your first book as being just like making your first TikTok or YouTube video, because you got a lot of more. When you get this first one done, it's like pulling rocks out of a hole. You're going to see more rocks down there that you want to reach down and pull out. This is really just the beginning. It's not like you just have one book in you. It always feels this way. And I know when I made my first TikTok, I was like, well, I think that's pretty much all I got there. Like 300 later, I'd suddenly say,
no kidding.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I said, I think you're right. That was kind of my intention, was to have something specific to what the problem that the book solves. It was just, trying to come up with something that's memorable, that might be a little bit cutesy or clever or something. I just haven't nailed on it yet, but maybe it's just something like Dustin's How to Manage Money. Like I said, I literally named it How to Manage Money at the time of the emergency launch whenever TikTok was going away. But
so you know what you named it in desperation might actually not be a bad name.
Yeah.
And you would still put on the cover, you'd put your entire name, but you just call it, oftentimes the things that our mind gravitates first is what we do when we're not overthinking stuff. The overthinking crap is what happens when we go, well, really, if I did, no, just stick with that. So the next step, what have you gone through in terms of the editing process?
Editing, like I said, I wrote maybe 160 or so pages. It's hard to say for sure. And then try to consolidate out everything, cut out all the fat, and then had my wife read through it. She read through several different versions, did the editing. I wanted it to be casual. I didn't want it, I knew I was going to make, grammatical errors and things like that, but just wanted to be like a casual read. I wrote it like I was just talking to somebody. And again, back to the price point, I didn't want to pay, $10,000 for an editing deal, because then I was going to have to charge a lot more, and I think the market would be a lot smaller. And so that's kind of where the editing has been. I've gone through and edited myself several times, had her edit some, and that's kind of where it is. It's pretty casual.
I did this recently for a document on YouTube or on TikTok actually. Was I put up a document and told everyone, hey, you can go check this out. And you have both writing privileges and commenting privileges for a Google Doc. And I got so here's what's interesting. So I gave people complete rights to do whatever they want with it. Obviously, with Google Docs, people could go in and delete stuff. So I went back the next morning, and people had made some really nice edits. They had tightened up some structure. They had corrected some stuff. They did some really beautiful stuff. And I was like, this is great. And I went back 2 hours later, and someone had deleted, just randomly deleted stuff, it looked like, and moved paragraphs around. But of course, with Google Docs, you just simply go back to, I went back to my 8:30 a.m. version, boom, it was all golden again. Now, at that point, I just left on comments, and I did turn off editing, because I'm not sure I want to be checking this every hour to see who's messed it up. But it was interesting. I actually got some good comments. So I think that could be an interesting way in the future if you ever decided, I'd like to get feedback before I publish, and as a way to sort of generate interest, put up a chapter, tell people about it on the channels, on social media, and then say, go ahead and make comments. If you got questions I didn't answer, it allows you to basically have something working as you're doing it.
That's a really good idea. Wish I'd thought about that.
The next step is getting a cover and then getting it out in the door. And by Gumroad, this is all an ebook, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. And I think at this point I may do a second launch. Like I said, it was so convoluted the way I did it with the deal. I might go the route of, doing an Amazon launch too, as a second round. And I had some ideas for marketing for the book that I was going to do on YouTube and TikTok. And I don't know, the way I did it just wasn't how I intended it at all.
Well, it can be like a restaurant. You have a soft launch and then you have a hard launch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's no reason why you can't, there's no reason why you can't have.
Because my understanding is with Amazon, you just send them the PDF, right? And then they print a copy whenever somebody orders it. I think it's
digital publishing. Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
So exactly right. They will literally, and you will see how much, depending on what rate you set them at. In other words, you set your price for the book and a 30 or 70% commission, and then when they sell a copy of the book, they ship it out. They send you, I think it's a certain number. They don't send you $2 at a time. You have to get $100 or something. But anyway. But you're not the nice part is you don't have to carry inventory. The other nice part is you don't have to assign an ISBN to it if you don't want to. Amazon will do it. The problem with that is that so ISBN is the numbers that all books have that make them universally available. Amazon has their own system that's just basically their own designation that they generate books with. That being said, is you're not going to sell it on another platform because they own the number then. They don't own the book, but they own the number associated with the book on their platform. So so you can't put that you'd have to go get a separate ISBN number, which is not hard to do if you wanted to list it on Borders or at your local coffee shop or whatever. That would need its own separate deal. But you can, those are all. Amazon is a great first place to start, and you don't have to. You can choose between paperback or electronic. So you're giving people two different options. And I'm finding more and more people are liking the paperback because it's physical. And something like finance, I think they'd want to mark up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I may end up going that route, and I'd say chances are probably I will for the hard launch, I guess. Yeah.
So what are the ways? How do you envision marketing this once you get it going? What's the process that you see getting it out there, promoting it?
I've got a couple ideas. The main thing is going to be TikTok. That's where the bulk of my audience is. And so I've got a couple of TikTok ideas that I'm going to run, kind of like, I guess, commercials almost for the book. And then I'll probably mention it as well on Instagram, which I don't have a ton of people there, but and then do it on YouTube as well.
Yeah. You know what? I wouldn't look at it as commercials. Your book is full of great content that actually is the content people want. So any place that you can work the topics.
Yeah, the main thing I was going to do is pose questions that, with TikTok, you've got at most a minute, and very few people are going to watch a full minute. And so I was going to pose questions that I can't answer in a minute, and then say, here's how you get answers to those questions is in this book here that I've, written, 7-8 pages on that you can go read.
The other thing you could do is, and I like that, I think there's multiple ideas to be able to do. One of them would be the green screen effect, where you can actually just post the image back up to your, right to the side of your head. That's a picture of the book. You actually just talk about it, and then flashing on the screen, it says, click my profile for the link to my book if you want to read more on this topic. Then you've suddenly then made that book relevant to every single TikTok you make. And if you're telling me new stuff that I don't know, it'll probably take me what it says 8 to 10 times of impressions before things make a difference. So you tell me new stuff, I don't mind seeing it up to the side of your head, and then it's you can slice that many ways, and it'd be good. Another possibility would be if there's someone that you could talk to or interview about the topic that would be like even an 18-year-old that would be dealing with a similar issue. And then it would be, you could reference it back as part of the book. And I don't know how you'd film that. That would be something a little bit different. But I think the thing is this, what you've created is full of content. That content in new form is new content. So that's the beauty of what you've done. You've done something brilliant.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of options out there. And I said I had some what I think were going to be good ideas, and I still plan to execute on those. It's just a matter of getting it all done first before I try to execute on those.
And hopefully, in the sooner rather than later, with our deadline fast approaching.
Okay, I think that's all for show, but anyways, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's been great talking to you, Dustin. Tell people how they can find out more about you and where they can find you.
Sure. Logical Finance. Just you can Google it, look on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I post on TikTok about 6-7 times a week. Posting on YouTube. I'm going to try to up that. I've been doing about once a week. I'm going to try to up it to twice a week. And then Instagram, I get all kinds of DMs over there and post on there, a few times a week. So just look at Logical Finance on any platform and you'll probably find me.
Fantastic. Always good seeing you, my friend. Good luck.
Appreciate it. Enjoyed this.
What I really liked about Dustin and his approach, the way his mindset is working, is he sees this book as just the first step in a process. One book is not going to make him a millionaire, and one book isn't going to solve any sort of problems. It's really just carrying on his conversation that he's having with his audience already. If you're going to have a book sell, you need to have a platform. The way you have a platform is to get people knowing who you are. Social media is a great place to start, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, any place that you can familiarize yourself with the people who you intend to want to buy is a good place to begin. Develop the audience now, because whenever you need them, they won't be there magically. For Greg Henthorne and the Greg Henthorne Show, thanks for watching. Watch for another YouTube video next week. If you haven't, click the button and subscribe. Turn on notifications. Have a good night.